We see how they act. Can you imagine in any democratic country something like this happening? I am sure that absolutely not. But for Russia, not only it was expected, but also everybody knew that Prigozhin would not die of a heart attack or probably would not be poisoned, that his death would be a public execution to show that Putin still has an upper hand inside the country, to show that he will always come after anybody who would challenge him. And this is how the country works. This is how the empire works, destroying everything inside and outside them.
Speak now to Ukrainian MP and leader of the Holos party, Kira Rudik. Good morning, Kira.
Good morning, James. Thank you so much for having me.
I can't imagine there are any Ukrainians shedding tears over the apparent death of Yevgeny Prigozhin, but what is your reaction? What do you make of the news?
Well, first of all, the events of Prigozhin death is a very good hashtag, I told you so, to all people who are saying, oh, you should sit and agree with something with Putin. There is nothing that you can agree on with Russia because they have been known for a long time as ones that never keep their deal and only understand one language, the language of force, the language of power. And this is why it is a huge illusion that there could be some peaceful negotiations. And moreover, then after the peace negotiations, Putin will keep his part of the bargain and would not attack again. We see how they act. Can you imagine in any democratic country something like this happening? I am sure that absolutely not. But for Russia, not only it was expected, but also everybody knew that Prigozhin would not die of a heart attack or probably would not be poisoned, that his death would be a public execution to show that Putin still has an upper hand inside the country, to show that he will always come after anybody who would challenge him. And this is how the country works. This is how the empire works, destroying everything inside and outside them. And this is why we are fighting, because we are completely different. Ukraine is a democratic country, and we cannot allow something like this happening in our country.
Are you worried, Kira, that this may strengthen Vladimir Putin?
I think it already strengthened him because he was able basically to disassemble Wagner Group and weaken them out. And for us, it was much less enemies, really highly trained enemies fighting at the front. However, I think it would indeed prolong the time until the next rebellion can appear in Russia. You know, at the very beginning of the full-scale invasion, we were so shocked that Russian people did not rebel against what is happening in Ukraine, against the war that Putin launched. And they were completely impotent in terms of their social activities. They have seen what was happening, but they did not go on demonstrations, on protests, did not say no. And it was so strange for us. Well, right now we understand what is going on, and we see a great example that Russia is on a very long, maybe impossible path to be transformed into democracy.
It was interesting you mentioned there, Kira, about Vladimir Putin, the action he's taken, and what that says about those who say at some point there will need to be peace talks. We had the first Republican presidential debate last night. Someone who wasn't there was Donald Trump, of course. He was doing an interview with Tucker Carlson instead. And he has said previously that on his first day in office, he would find a way of negotiating a peace between Russia and Ukraine. How concerned are you about a potential return to the presidency of Donald Trump?
Well, this candidate to the presidential elections from the Republican Party, he usually tends to offer people simple solutions to complicated problems. And it's not only about Ukraine, about so many other issues that we know cannot be solved by just magic wand and cannot be solved by saying, oh, I'll just tackle it down, right? Of course, we are concerned with potential change of the policy in the United States if the presidential elections will turn the way that the unexpected way, let's put it this way. But we also understand that the support that we are receiving from the United States, it's not the support of Joseph Biden or Donald Trump or some particular people. It's support of American people who are represented in the Congress. And we are proud to have bipartisan support in this matter. So we do hope that the personality that may offer their voters whatever they can right now would not significantly change the strategy that the United States would have. And honestly, I do not think anybody in the world believes that you can fix the issue with Putin or with any other dictator in one day.
And of course, today is Ukrainian Independence Day, marking 32 years of post-Soviet freedom in your country. Bringing us on to the wider issue of the ongoing war with Russia, where would you say the war is at the moment from Ukraine's perspective? I know in the last week, Kira, both Denmark and the Netherlands have agreed to donate American F-16 fighter jets. How big a difference will that make?
That would be a complete game changer for us in two angles. The first one, of course, it's additional layer of protection for the peaceful cities. You have seen recently the vicious attacks, the terrorist attacks on people's homes, on the theater in Chernihiv, killing dozens of people. And it is happening every single day. Russia is attacking us every single day, people who are basically sleeping in their beds. So fighter jets would add additional chance for us to survive. But also it is critical for us at the battlefield. No NATO country would go into war without the domination in the skies. We are fighting without dominating in the skies for 18 months right now. And of course, it will be crucial for us to strengthen our army in this way and allow our people to fight better with additional protection. So, of course, we are waiting for the fighter jets to arrive to Ukraine and be used here. We have been begging for it since the day one, saying how crucial and how important it is for all of us, for basically our physical survival. And we were absolutely thrilled when we heard that this decision is made. And right now we are waiting for this trainings for the fighter jets to complete and then for them to start being delivered to Ukraine.
Kira, I just want to ask you about reports from Ukraine's National Resistance Centre, citing unnamed Belarusian sources, saying that some Wagner convoys appear to be heading towards Russia. Do you know anything about that?
Oh, I have no idea. This is the first time I hear about that.
Okay, so you're not aware of Wagner convoys
No.
now heading towards Russia. I mean, in terms of Wagner's impact on the war in Ukraine so far, clearly they've been doing a lot of the fighting on behalf of Russia. Are you hopeful now that with Yevgeny Prigozhin's apparent death that at least Wagner's influence on the war will diminish immensely?
Yes, we have a hope like that. So Wagner Group was fighting hard in Bakhmut. They are a really highly trained group that have experience in many different war areas of the globe, including Syria and African countries. So it would be naive to decrease their influence that they had. Of course, it was really intense, and of course they were a strong enemy to fight against. So right now, without the leadership, I think Putin will just disassemble them and add them to different regular forces, and that would of course decrease their influence and the pressure that they are putting onto our forces.
Kira, really appreciate your time this morning. I just want to finish by noting something you tweeted the other day. You said, for the past year and a half, my best mornings have started with the news that my loved ones are safe and sound. And I suppose that is a timely reminder that we can't forget about the 70,000 odd Ukrainians who are believed to have died in the war so far. What is day-to-day life like for you and for the people in Kyiv and across Ukraine?
Well, it totally depends on how we spend the night, because if there are air raid sirens and missile attacks, we go to bomb shelters or sit under the stairs in our homes with the rule of two walls. You know that you have to sit in between two walls, so if there is an explosion, you would not be killed. Um, and then your morning starts and you check with everybody that you know that they are okay, especially the ones who are fighting at the front. And it's such an incredible moment of waiting between the question, how are you? Then the, blue check marks, and then the answer, I'm okay. The life goes on, people go to work, we go to parliament, and we are working, executing on our duties to Ukrainian people. And it is summer, the last days of summer in Kiev, which is also amazing. And today we'll be celebrating Independence Day. But the threat of the war is always there. And the toll that we are paying every single day just for the fact that we exist, just for an ability to be here, to define our own future, it is absolutely crucial.
Kira, thank you so much. Really, really appreciate your time. Thank you for coming on Times Radio today.